Welcome back to the show. Today is a lovely Wednesday afternoon, August 13th. Folks, today we have some massive bombshell nuclear news that we're going to go through. Guys, Tulsi Gabbard, our Director of National Intelligence, has just discovered and declassified yet another round of emails that further implicates the Obama administration as well as the Obama-era intelligence community in this entire Obama-Gate Russian collusion narrative, the hoax, the scandal, the false narrative that they intentionally and deliberately disseminated, perpetuated in order to undermine the outcome of the 2016 presidential election. And so, ladies and gentlemen, we're just going to get into this because, like I said, this is bombshell news that just hit the press maybe 90 minutes ago. We got to talk about it. So first off, guys, if you are new, please make sure to subscribe and like today's show. We are live on YouTube, Matt Morris TV, and on Rumble, Matt Morris TV. Make sure to follow on Twitter, or X as it is now known, Matt Morris TV. Everybody, thank you very much. We have the best community in the world. Let's get right into it, ladies and gentlemen. This is from our Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard. Like I said about 90 minutes ago, she said, newly declassified top secret emails sent on December 22nd, 2016, complying with President Obama's order to create the manufactured January 2017 intelligence community assessment about Russia expose, how Director of National Intelligence James Clapper, we talked a lot about him just 2 or 3 days ago. We're going to talk about him a lot again today. James Clapper demanded that the intelligence community fall in line behind the Russia hoax. Clapper admits that it was a, quote, team sport that required a, quote, compromise on our normal modalities. Read the info for yourself. So Tulsi Gabbard here has released a ton of now declassified intelligence paperwork going over all of this. There's a really great write-up that I want to take a look at with you guys today. This was published on Fox News, and this covers all of the bases. So I want to go through this and then break all of this down with you guys. And once again, thank you all for tuning in. This might sound bad already. You might be saying, oh my gosh, this entire situation just gets worse. Well, wait. We haven't even really gotten into it yet. It's actually worse than you think it sounds. It's actually 10 times worse than you think already. So, ladies and gentlemen, the title of today's article is Clapper allegedly pushed to, quote, compromise normal steps to rush the 2017 intelligence community assessment despite concerns from the NSA director. Now we know, as a consequence of this now declassified intelligence paperwork, courtesy of Tulsi Gabbard 90 minutes ago, the Obama-era national and NSA director, the Obama-era NSA director himself was like, listen, guys, I don't know if we should be doing this. And they said, Clapper said, shut up. Obama said, shut up. We're going to do it anyway. So let's go ahead and break all of this down. Tulsi Gabbard's declassified emails, exclusively obtained by Fox News Digital, allegedly revealing that the, quote, manufactured intelligence assessment was deliberate and came from the very top. All right. Okay. All right. We're off to a great start here. Exclusive. Former Director of National Intelligence James Clapper. When I think of deep state, Washington, D.C., swamp beast, Clapper is probably number one. Okay, at a minimum, he's in the top 3. And as we continue reading through this, I'm going to explain why. I'm sure you'll come to understand why. Let's keep reading here for the time being, though. Former Director of National Intelligence, James Clapper, allegedly directed officials to, quote, compromise the normal procedures to rush out a politicized 2017 intelligence community assessment despite concerns from the then director of the National Security Agency, Mike Rogers, a guy named Mike Rogers, who allegedly said his team did not, quote, have enough time to review the intelligence in order to be absolutely confident that Russia was involved in the 2016 election. Guys, you know what you're doing is unethical and traitorous when even the director of the NSA is saying, hold up, wait a minute, we got to pump the brakes on this. Hey, listen, hey, this is the director of the NSA. You guys know the NSA, they're up to some shady stuff sometimes. They were, spying on American citizens, whatever, okay? The director of the NSA, when Obama and his intelligence community was doing all this stuff, the director of the NSA, he got involved and he said, listen, guys, I don't know if we should do this. This might be a little bit too unethical. This might be a little bit beyond the pale. And they said, shut up. They said, hey, Mr. NSA, what's his name, Mike Rogers? Shut up. We're going to do it anyway. Let's keep reading. The director of national intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, declassified emails Wednesday, about 2 hours ago. Fox News Digital obtained the now declassified records. Quote, the leading figures in the Russia hoax have spent years deceiving the American public by presenting their manufactured and politicized assessments as credible intelligence. They were, in fact, not credible intelligence. Gabbard told Fox News Digital. The email released today reinforces what we already exposed. The decision to compromise standards and violate protocols in the creation of the 2017 Manufactured Intelligence Assessment was deliberate and came from the very top. Who's at the top? Barack Obama, Clapper, Comey. We're going to keep reading through this. Clapper, listen, the more I learn about Clapper, I'm like, man, this is one bad dude. We're going to talk about him a lot today. Clapper's own words confirm that complying with the order to manufacture intelligence was a, quote, team sport. They were all in on it. In July, last month, Fox News Digital exclusively reported that Gabbard and intelligence officials claimed that the Obama administration allegedly, quote, manufactured and politicized intelligence. Imagine that. To create the narrative that Russia was attempting to influence the 2016 presidential election, despite information from the intelligence community stating explicitly otherwise. So if you guys have not been paying attention, 12B Georgia, I appreciate that. You're now a member over here on YouTube. Thank you. Shout out the YouTube chat. Shout out the Rumble audience as well. Thank you. If you guys have not really been paying attention to this entire situation, for the first half of 2016, for the first 3/4 of 2016, the final year of Barack Obama's presidency, Barack Obama's own intelligence community was saying, they were actually publishing reports saying that Russia is not only not trying to influence the outcome of our presidential election between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump, but also that they didn't even have the capacity to do it. So one, they were not doing it. The Russians were not trying to do it. Two, they didn't even have the ability to do it. This is what the Obama-era intelligence community was saying for the first 9 months, maybe 8 months of 2016. Okay, well, the second it started looking like Donald Trump was going to win the election, Barack Obama started panicking. He got worried. He said, listen, we can't let this guy get in the White House. Here's what we're going to do. He instructed the senior ranking members of his intelligence community, the Director of National Intelligence Clapper, his FBI Director Comey, various other senior ranking intelligence officials. And he said, listen, guys, we need right now, we are going to falsely, incorrectly manufacture a report that the Russians are influencing this election, that they're trying to influence the outcome of the election, and also that Donald Trump is working with the Russians to subvert the integrity of our democracy. And that's exactly what they did, despite having 9 months of reports prior to that saying the exact opposite. And now we know, this is really one component of the big bombshell news of the day. This is the information we got just 2 hours ago, is that the NSA director at the time, in the second half of 2016, director of the NSA, Mike Rogers, even he was like, listen, we can't prove that Russia is doing this. What are you guys talking about? The NSA director said, guys, listen, this story is bogus. We can't run with this. And then they did it anyway. Let's keep reading. The email released by Tulsi Gabbard, exclusively obtained by Fox News Digital earlier today from Rogers, NSA Director Rogers, was sent to then Director of the National Intelligence Clapper then CIA Director John Brennan, and then FBI Director James Comey on December 22nd, 2016 at 7 in the morning. It said, I've just returned from a TDY, a trip overseas, and been updated on the current status of our efforts to produce a joint product related to Russian attribution and intent for the DNC and the DCC hacks, Rogers allegedly wrote in this email. He wrote, I know that this activity is on a fast track and that folks have been working very hard to put together a product that can be provided to the president. However, he said, I wanted to reach out to you directly to let you know of some concerns I have with what I am hearing from my folks at the NSA. He said, specifically, I asked my team if they had had sufficient access to the underlying intelligence and sufficient time to review that intelligence. On both of those points, my team at the NSA raised some concerns, Rogers wrote. They were clear that at the staff level, folks had been forward-leaning and trying to ensure that we have an opportunity to review and weigh in, but I'm concerned that given the expedited nature of this activity, I have to pause. Why was this expedited, folks, ladies and gentlemen? Why was this entire process? They were trying to put together, hodgepodge together this report that Russia was interfering with our election and that Trump was working with Russia. Why was this expedited? Because they were running out of time. They had to get this report out ASAP in order to, one, influence the 2016 election, and then after Donald Trump ended up winning, in order to try to undermine and subvert. It was a coup to destroy his credibility, okay? And maybe even stop him from getting sworn in, because, you know, you win the election, you know who won the election in early November. Nobody is sworn in until January, so you've got 2 months. Maybe they can do something. Yeah, he won, but we can't let him get sworn in because he's working with the Russians, blah, 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 right? And so there's a reason why this entire process had to be expedited. It's got to go out now, even though very clearly the guys at the NSA did not have time to corroborate this or even fact check any of this. He said, my folks, look at this, pay attention. He said, the director of the NSA said, my folks are not fully comfortable saying that they have had enough time to review all of the intelligence to be absolutely confident in these assessments. That's big. Rogers clarified with the email stating he is, quote, not saying that we disagree substantively, but I want to make sure that when we are asked in the future whether we can absolutely stand behind this paper, that we don't have any reason to hesitate because of the process. What does this mean? He was hesitant. It means him and his boys at the NSA, they did not have time to properly vet all this information, and they were suspect. They were hesitant of this entire narrative. And Clapper decided to publish it, to push it through anyway. Clapper and Comey and Brennan and Obama. I know that you agree that this is something we need to be 100% comfortable with before we present it to the president. We have one chance to get this right, and it is critical that we do so. Now, I'm reading through this for the first time now with you guys. I'm going to give you my impression here. I'm asking you in the audience, both in Rumble and YouTube. Let me know if you agree. It almost seems like Rogers was hoping that this Russia collusion narrative was real. It seems like Rogers maybe was not a big fan of Trump. If the Russia collusion thing ended up being real, it sounds like he would have been happy because he was not a fan of Trump. But even so, he's kind of like, yeah, I don't like Trump. Yeah, listen, if we want to do, but if we want to do this, we need to make sure we do it right. We need to make sure our case is bulletproof. Okay, if we're going to try to bring down Trump here with this Russian collusion thing, this case has got to be bulletproof, meaning you've got to give my guys at the NSA time to properly go through this. So I don't think that Rogers, the director of the NSA, I don't think he was really trying to protect Trump here or stop the plan or stop Comey or stop Obama. I think he was just like, listen, guys, if we're going to do this, we need to make sure that we can't be crucified for it afterwards, which is exactly what is happening right now, right? All of this is coming out. Let's keep on reading here, ladies and gentlemen. And once again, thank you all very much for tuning in. I appreciate it. Make sure to subscribe on Rumble and on YouTube and like everything. Thank you, guys. Okay. Rogers went on to write, he said, if the intent is to create an integrated product that is CIA, FBI, NSA jointly authored that we can all defend together, we need to have a process that allows all of us to be comfortable, and I am concerned that we are not there yet, is what he said. The email continued. And now, guys, all these emails have now been declassified by Tulsi Gabbard just like 2 hours ago. This is hot off of the declassification press. You guys are tuning in. This is live breaking news. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. He said the email continued. In addition, if NSA is intended to be a co-author of this product, I personally expect to see even the most sensitive evidence related to the conclusion. Well, that's going to be a problem, because what is the most sensitive evidence related to the conclusion that President Trump was working with the Russians? Well, this entire narrative traces directly back to the what? To the Steele dossier, which was put together by Steele, and it was paid for to the tune of $13 million by the Clinton campaign and the Democratic National Committee, the DNC. And so all of this is just bogus. It's all an absolute lie, and now we know that that is the case. So let's continue on. The email said, though, if the intent is to create a CIA only or CIA FBI co-authored product, then I will stand down on these concerns. So all he's saying is, listen, if you guys want to go ahead and publish this narrative, if you want to push this, that's fine. But I don't want to associate the NSA with it unless the NSA is given enough time to vet the story. He's saying if the NSA's name is going to be attached to this, we need to make sure that this story is bulletproof. Folks, yes or no? Was the story bulletproof? The story, as it would turn out, as we now know, was not bulletproof. It's about as bulletproof as I am. I'm not bulletproof. If I get shot with a bullet, I'm going to die. Okay, now we'll keep on reading here. I would welcome your thoughts on these points and any adjustments we might make to the process to ensure that if we all have the necessary level of confidence in the final assessment. Hours later, about 12 hours later, actually, at 7:43 p.m. on the same day, Clapper allegedly replied to NSA Director Rogers' email, copying Brennan and Comey, and he said, this is from Clapper now, "Understand your concern," Clapper wrote. It is essential that we, the CIA, NSA, FBI, ODNI, that all of us are on the same page and are all supportive of this report. Excuse me. In the highest tradition of, quote, "that's our story and we're sticking to it." Clapper really is evil. Guys, ladies and gentlemen, Clapper is just an evil, demonic person, and now we're going to talk about Clapper. So what he's saying is that, listen, because Clapper knows this is a lie. Clapper knows. Maybe Rogers, the director of the NSA, doesn't know at this point. Clapper knows. Clapper knows this is a lie. They are about to spread a lie, manufactured by the Democrats and Hillary Clinton, perpetuated by the Obama intelligence community, spread to the liberal media. Clapper knows that what they are about to do is push one of the biggest subversive lies in all of American history. And so what does he say? Clapper says, if we're going to do this, we all have to be on the same page, and we have to, all of us, in unity, come together and say, that's the story, and we're sticking to it. He said, if we're going to lie about this, we all have to be in this together. Now, this is a segment that I think is going to be fun. We did a similar segment maybe 2 or 3 days ago. I think a lot of people are unfamiliar with Clapper's history. Clapper at this point is the director of national intelligence for Barack Hussein Obama. just a little bit of a recap of who James Clapper really is. In 2003, James Clapper was the director of the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency, and as such, James Clapper actually, interestingly, pay attention here, James Clapper directly manufactured the fake intelligence which confirmed that Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction, WMDs. This is in 2003. It was this report that came from James Clapper in 2003, who at the time was the director of the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency. This fake report that was used as the pretense and as the justification for the invasion of Iraq in 2003. Then, after we invaded Iraq in 2003, within 3 or 4 months, and no WMDs were found in Iraq, James Clapper, who was still director of the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency, James Clapper issued another report. And James Clapper's new report, with new fabricated faked satellite imagery, he said, hey guys, yeah, I know that there were no WMDs in Iraq, but here's why. It's because Saddam Hussein, moments before we invaded Iraq, Saddam Hussein relocated all of his weapons of mass destruction into Syria. So now my recommendation, James Clapper, is that we invade Syria also. How many Americans died? And by the way, now we know this satellite imagery that purportedly, confirmed that Saddam Hussein had WMDs in 2003. We know that this was a lie. We know that Clapper fabricated this information. We know that this was a bald-faced lie. We know he was lying. This was fabricated information to justify the invasion of Iraq. And then he tried to get us to invade Syria just a couple months later. How many Americans died? Thousands? How many civilians, how many random people in Iraq, all over the Middle East died because of this false, bogus information, this fake intelligence report that Clapper published in 2003? Hundreds of thousands of Middle Easterners died, and thousands of young Americans died. Tens of thousands came back home with PTSD. God knows how many. It's terrible. And so this guy's a liar. Guess what? We talked about this the other day also. In the 2014 Ukrainian Maidan revolution, when the American CIA was caught funding the riots and funding the protests in Ukraine, Clapper was the director of national intelligence under Barack Obama at this point, and he oversaw the entire Maidan revolution where the CIA was paying for the protests. And we know that's the case also. So this guy has been peddling propaganda and bogus intelligence reports for decades. And it's cost in total thousands of American lives, maybe tens of thousands, and hundreds of thousands of other lives all over the world. It's hard to even quantify how many people have been harmed or killed as a consequence of this guy's lying. He is a traitor. Now, real quick, this is in the Rumble chat. Whoa, we have a massive Rumble chat. He says, whoa, Ahmed. He says, okay, Rumble, let's show Matt some love. For the next 10 minutes, I will match dollar for dollar every donation through Rumble up to an additional $250. The clock is ticking. Ahmed, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Shout out to the Rumble chat. I want to keep the show going. Ahmed, thank you very much. That means a lot. Thank you very much. I think a lot of people, Ahmed, I think a lot of people have never heard about Clapper's really, frankly, evil demonic history. And so not only did he really, is he to blame for us getting involved in Iraq in 2003? He tried to get us involved in Syria in 2003. He was also involved in what happened in 2014 in Ukraine, which has, as you all know, cascaded into what is going on now in Ukraine. All this stuff is causal. One thing leads to another. Ahmed, thank you very much. Thank you again. And then guess what happens in 2016? He's one of the main individuals pushing this fake Russian collusion narrative, trying to subvert the outcome of the 2016 presidential election. Ladies and gentlemen, let's keep reading. Thank you very much. Where were we? This evening, CIA has provided to the National Intelligence Council, the NIC, the complete draft generated by the ad hoc fusion cell, Clapper continued. The ad hoc fusion cell was the small team that Brennan We're going to talk about him here in a minute also. There he is right there. You see his head popping out. The ad hoc fusion cell was the small team that Brennan put together to draft the 2016 Intelligence Community Assessment, intelligence community officials told the Fox News Digital. So check this out. This intelligence community assessment, this ad hoc fusion cell, was pretty much a collective of anti-American deep state traitors and deep state liars that came together to put together this bogus, fabricated, fake news intelligence community assessment. And it's got Brennan, it's got Comey, it's got Clapper, it's got all these people. They came together to put together a team in order to try to subvert the outcome of our election and to influence the outcome of the election. We will facilitate as much mutual transparency as possible as we complete the report, but more time is not negotiable, Clapper wrote. We may have to compromise on our normal modalities since we must do this on such a compressed schedule. So what is Clapper saying here in this now declassified email? What Clapper is saying is that, listen, hey, NSA Director Rogers, we're under such a time crunch to get this Russian collusion report out. We have to get it out now. It's got to go out. We don't have time to fact check everything. Saying normally, yeah, all of our intelligence community assessments, it would be under intense scrutiny, multi-agency scrutiny. We're going to fact check, make sure everything is up to snuff. But we're in such a hurry that we don't have time to do that. We just got to get it out immediately. Sinister, just totally sinister. The email continued. Clapper went on to say, this is one project that has to be a team sport. And why does Clapper is smart here in this way? It's evil and smart. Clapper acknowledges if he wants this fake news report to be accepted by the American people, then you've got to have all of our top intelligence agencies sign off on it. If it comes from only the CIA or only the FBI or only the NSA, then it's much easier to criticize. But if Clapper can say, listen, hey, we have all of the intelligence community, all of the intelligence agencies signing off on this, then it's more robust. Then you take this fake report and you make it stronger and more robust. So that's why he's concerned about this. This 2017 intelligence community assessment ultimately assessed that, quote, Russia was responsible for leaking data from the DNC and the DCC, but an official flagged to Fox News Digital that the ICA, this assessment, quote, failed to mention that FBI and NSA had previously expressed low confidence in this attribution. Well, like I said, okay, for 9 months in 2016 leading up to this report, the entire intelligence community under Barack Obama was saying that Russia, once again, not only is Russia not interfering with the 2016 election, but that also they don't even have the technical capacity to interfere. They couldn't even do it if they wanted. That was the intelligence community assessment and acknowledgement up until Donald Trump started winning that election. Up until they realized, oh my God, he's going to win this thing. Donald Trump, he's actually going to win this thing. And then they said, hold up, okay, we got to do something about this. Documents revealed that in the months leading up to the November 2016 election, the intelligence community consistently assessed that Russia was, quote, probably not trying to influence the election by using cyber means. Imagine that. Imagine that. Okay, I got to pause. We have a couple massive super chats. This is in Rumble over here. This is Nick. He says, Matt, thank you for all you do. Ahmed, you were awesome. Nick, thank you for tuning in over in Rumble. I appreciate that. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. We have Neil, the real deal, in Rumble also. He says, first time giving money on Rumble. Neil, I want you to say, listen, I really support I really appreciate all of the support from you guys, everybody tuning in and posting in the chat and liking and just hanging out, giving me your time. Time is really, it's a valuable thing. And so I really appreciate everybody giving me your time every single day, watching the videos and tuning into the streams. I appreciate it. God bless. And thank you very much. I appreciate that a lot. Now, over to YouTube, we just have super chats all over the place right now. You listen, are you guys a little bit pissed off about what the Obama intelligence community did? You guys are super chatting so much on Rumble and YouTube. I think you guys are a little bit pissed off about this. And me too. Martin D says, tired of the bombshells without actions behind them. Listen, hey, if you want these people to be held accountable, this is what we need to have. You can't, much to my dismay and maybe your dismay as well, we can't just go around arresting people. We got to build a case. We got to release the files. We got to connect the dots. We got to do the research. We got to put together the entire case. And that is what's going on right now. You are watching that process unfold in real time. So I would say remain optimistic. Things are happening very clearly. I appreciate that. But no, I understand the sentiment also. Thank you very much. And then this is the same one. Hey, Martin, I appreciate it. I get it. Thank you very much. Thank you. Greg Adamite. Hey, Matt, thank you for doing the legwork, bringing another great show. Take care, brother. I'll be honest, Greg, I was actually considering not doing a show today. It was kind of a slow news day. And then I saw this report come out. I said, we got to talk about this. So, hey, thank you very much. Once again, let's keep breaking down the news, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. Okay, back to it. Weeks before these emails were sent in early December 7th, 2016, Clapper's talking points stated, quote, foreign adversaries did not use cyber attacks on election infrastructure to alter the U.S. presidential election outcome. Wow. Guys, in early December 2016, even Clapper himself was saying that not a single foreign adversary was trying to alter the outcome of the presidential election. Then, on a dime, he pivoted. They started putting together this fake report. They manufactured the lie. Let's keep reading here. In July, about a month ago, Fox News Digital obtained a declassified copy of the presidential daily brief, which was prepared by the Department of Homeland Security, which reported from the CIA, the Defense Intelligence Agency, the FBI, and the NSA, the Department of Homeland Security, the State Department, and this is a report that was given to Barack Obama dated December 8th of 2016. Okay, let's see, what did this report say? We assess that Russian and criminal actors did not impact recent U.S. election results by conducting malicious cyber activities against election infrastructure. This is what the intelligence community collectively assessed on December 8th of 2016. And they presented this information to Barack Obama. Russia did not interfere. Then, just 2.5 weeks later, they pivoted on a dime. They said, Russian government-affiliated actors most likely compromised an Illinois voter registration database and unsuccessfully attempted the same in other states. This report said in early December. We have another big super chat here from John. My primary concern is that Clapper will turn on everybody and get a sweetheart deal. You know what? I don't think so. All of these people are going to be held accountable. I appreciate that. Thank you. And also FD Pass, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. But the brief stated that it was highly unlikely the effort would have resulted in altering any state's official vote result. Criminal activity also failed to reach the scale and sophistication necessary to change election outcomes, this report stated, that was given to Barack Obama. The brief noted that the Office of the Director of National Intelligence assessed that any Russian activities, quote, probably were intended to cause psychological effects, such as undermining the credibility of the election process and candidates. The FBI even had concerns with the inclusion of that information in the presidential daily brief. So the FBI didn't even want to include that much in the brief because they determined it was inconsequential. But the point is that Russia did not substantively interfere with this election. By December 9th, 2 days later, in 2016, a meeting convened in the White House Situation Room with the subject line starting, Summary of Conclusions for PC Meeting on a Sensitive Topic Redacted. The meeting included top officials in the National Security Council, Clapper, CIA Director John Brennan, National Security Advisor Susan Rice, Secretary of State John Kerry, Attorney General Loretta Lynch, Deputy FBI Director Andrew McCabe, among others, to discuss Russia. The declassified meeting record obtained by Fox News said the principals, quote, agreed to recommend sanctioning of certain members of the Russian military intelligence and foreign intelligence chains of command responsible for cyber operations as a response to cyber activity that attempted to influence or interfere with the U.S. elections. So, guys, as we're finding out once again, the second President Trump won the election, and as the days ticked by, he was getting closer to being sworn in after he won as the president. That's when they changed their mind. For months, they had been saying Russia did not interfere, and then they just sort of unilaterally decided, actually, Russia did. We cannot let this guy get sworn in. We need to start publishing these reports and leaking the information to the media to undermine his credibility, etc. And there's something I want to show you guys. We're talking a lot about this individual here. His name is John Brennan. He was Barack Obama's CIA director. Now, maybe take this report with a grain of salt. This is not corroborated yet, but this is from Roger Stone. So let me know how you feel about this. Roger Stone posted this update yesterday. He said, sources are telling me that admitted communist, Islamic convert, and traitor John Brennan, did he convert to Islam? I don't know. This is Roger Stone. He said, John Brennan has fled the country and is now hiding out in Austria, where MSNBC has built a makeshift studio for him to make it appear that he is still in the United States. Roger Stone went on to say, Brennan has no intention of returning to the country and can be considered to be on the run. He's on the run. Now, this is one guy. This is Roger Stone. It's up to you to decide whether or not you believe him. I will tell you this, though. There is something to extract here. Every single person implicated in all of these now declassified stories, memos that Tulsi Gabbard has been releasing over the last month or so, everybody that is even tangentially related, loosely related to this Obamagate Russian scandal hoax, they need to have their passports apprehended. Do you guys feel the same way? Whether or not Brennan has actually left the country, it raises a curious idea. We cannot allow them to flee from the country. We need to make sure that none of these people escape or flee or run to Israel or Austria or North Korea or wherever they run to Russia themselves. I don't know. If you are involved in this, if somebody was involved in this, Comey, Clapper, whatever, Brennan, they need to be held accountable. Their passports should be apprehended by the U.S. government right now. Donald Trump, DNI, Tulsi Gabbard, apprehend those passports. Do not let them escape, right? That's how I feel. We can't risk it. We cannot risk it. And so, guys, ladies and gentlemen, I do want to wrap up and go through these super chats here. Ahmed, he's a man of his word. He was true to his word. I want to say thank you, Ahmed. Thank you. I have some, and thank you again for the big one earlier today also. I have a little bit of a final piece of, tidbit of news here that I want to share with all of you before we get to the end of the show here. And also, Meg, thank you very much over here on YouTube. Thank you for that super chat. It's all corrupt. The entire fish is rotten. Now, speaking of components of a rotten fish, take a look at this. John Solomon says tomorrow, that is as in tomorrow, the next day, will bring bombshell documents exposing the Clinton Foundation for corruption. They will reveal a detailed timeline of how Obama's Department of Justice blocked FBI agents from pursuing an investigation that could have led to Hillary Clinton's arrest. Take a look at the video. So we are investigating this entire situation. Take a look right here.
Elements that we haven't spent a lot of time talking about, which actually was the largest obsession of the FBI and the largest frustration of the FBI during the Comey years, was the FBI's efforts to potentially investigate and prosecute Hillary Clinton for corruption via her Clinton Foundation. Tomorrow, we're going to make public for everybody a bombshell timeline, a lengthy memo that goes in great and painful and excruciating detail all the ways that the Justice Department under Barack Obama and some of James Comey's deputies went to stop agents from legitimately investigating predicated corruption investigation against Hillary Clinton, looking at money and decisions she made. Money goes to the foundation, decisions are made. They thought they saw a pattern, not one office, not two offices, 3 separate offices of the FBI. They were politically obstructed. You're going to know the names, the terms, the dates on which all that obstruction occurred by tomorrow.
So just to make sure everybody understands this here, ladies and gentlemen, what he's saying is that tomorrow we are going to get definitive proof that the FBI, during maybe 2014, 2015, 2016, at some point during Barack Obama's time in the White House, the FBI actually wanted to open up an investigation into the Clinton Foundation, and that Barack Obama's Department of Justice actually shut that investigation down. They said, you are not going to investigate Hillary Clinton. Shut it down. Why? Why would Barack Obama work so hard to protect Hillary Clinton? Well, for the same reason that they put out this Russia collusion hoax. It's the reason why is because Barack Obama wanted Hillary Clinton to win the 2016 presidential election. So I'm just going to make up some numbers here. If in 2014 the FBI wanted to investigate Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama knew, we got to shut that down because hold up, 2 years from now, I want Hillary Clinton to win the election. And she's not going to win the election if she's under FBI investigation or found guilty for some wrongdoing as it relates to the Clinton Foundation. So we got to shut this thing down years in advance is really what this entire situation would mean. But now, listen, I see some of you guys in the chat in Rumble or in YouTube saying nothing ever happens. Nobody ever gets held accountable. Nobody ever gets arrested. Guys, okay. Maybe regrettably, like I said, we can't. The Trump administration, Donald Trump can't just start throwing handcuffs on these guys. You have to build a case. You have to have the paperwork. You have to have the evidence. You have to connect all the dots. You got to dig through the files. You got to refer it to the DOJ. You got to go through the criminal system, the legal system. This stuff does take time. So if you are someone that wants accountability, give me a yes in the chat. If you want accountability for these people, what we are seeing now, Tulsi Gabbard, all this stuff getting declassified, okay? This is what it looks like. This is what the first couple steps of accountability actually looks like. This is exactly what we want to see. The case is being built in front of us, the American people, every single day by day on the daily basis. And so I'm here for it. We're going to keep on covering it. We're going to keep on reporting on this. Now, today, as in right now, we don't have a nice bow on the top of this entire thing, but keep coming back. Okay, day by day, more information is coming down. We are seeing this situation unfold. These people are getting publicly crucified. Good, they should. They are traitors. They're anti-American traitors. And soon, if things keep going the way it's going, okay, if Tulsi Gabbard keeps on putting the work in, it's been passed off to the FBI and the DOJ. Criminal investigations are underway right now. They are. Take it from me, all these people. Okay, I think we're going to see accountability, ladies and gentlemen. Now, we have one final super chat here. This is from Jojo. He said, it sounds like Clapper could be prosecuted under war crimes like Hitler collaborators. If he is found guilty, he will be subject to execution. I don't know exactly what the crime is. I don't know. Okay. But this stuff is happening. And I want to say thank you very much for that super chat. All these people are guilty. We just have to prove it. We have to prove it beyond any reasonable doubt. Have you guys ever known somebody in real life? It's like, listen, I know you're lying to me. I know you stole the $5 out of my wallet, but I can't prove it. I know you did something wrong, but I can't prove it. You got to be able to prove, you have to be able to prove it, right? And that is what we are witnessing right now, day by day. We're building the case, we're getting the proof, and accountability is coming down the pipeline. I do think there's some light at the end of the tunnel here. So folks, I want to say thank you all very much for tuning in today. We are Matt Morris TV on YouTube, Matt Morris TV on Rumble, Matt Morris TV on Twitter. Now it's known as X. Everybody, thank you very much. I'm going to wrap it up today, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. So everybody, thank you for tuning in wherever it is you are tuning in on Rumble or YouTube. Everybody have a great Wednesday night. Everybody have a great Thursday morning, and we'll be back tomorrow doing it again with more updates. We might be talking about Hillary Clinton tomorrow. We got to see. So thank you all very much. I appreciate it. Everybody, God bless. Thank you very much, and I am out of here.